Dinosaurs return back to the metagame, and you thought they were prehistoric? Nah, not yet. Don't make 30% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so you guys don't miss out. More Oz content. Hoo-wee. Now this is interesting. We had a pretty big split here, actually, on this top cut, showcasing that Super Heavy Samurai, which ended up winning this event, by the way, is doing very, very well out here. And, of course, you had a split with that and Sword Soul, of all things. Now, I don't know if it's just week one syndrome or what's kind of going on out here, but the fact that we have seen, a relatively strong shift between, these top tier competitors here. And I mean, in honestly, a pretty bold fashion here where these different decks are competing with each other. I mean, other regional stories out here, you'll see that, oh my gosh, Kashtira has been the most dominating force out here. No, actually in reverse out here, you had Super Heavy Samurai and Sword Soul pulling that reverse Uno card, which is pretty nice. Now, like I said, Kashtira still making its way into the top cut. I mean, you shouldn't be surprised, all right? Like, the deck is literally old reliable. Players want to stick to the old consistency decks. And if a deck can, still get you carried into an event doing relatively well, why would you try to change things up? Why would you want to, go for a different deck at this point in time? We also had Purely out here as well. I have very much enjoyed the different builds and things that players have been trying out here in terms of the format, in terms of the different levels of diversity. And it has really showcased that these different builds have opened up so many doors and things that you could actually really mess around with. So that's actually kind of nice to see. We also had Naturia Runic on the run back here. Naturia Runic still, it's lost a little bit of power, to be honest with you, but I don't think that's an issue. I think that the deck is still able to keep up as long as it doesn't get shifted, and that's fine. And of course, we had Dinosaurs. Oh, sorry. I'm actually very happy to see. This is pre-Transcend Drake support, too. So whatever players are trying out here is seeing that, hey, this deck can keep up. Like, this isn't just, an offbeat abnormality out here. No. It still is doing something, and that's really good to see in terms of consistency. Let's pass on over to top deck list. Second place out here is none other than Cash Money Dollar Bills. And, this build did bring back in the shifters, which is fine. I mean, we have seen that this has not been an abnormality for some time. Like, this is the way to go. But there's no Drolls in here. There's no follow-up on the Drolls. No. We actually opted for one extra Ghost Ogre in the main deck. And then we have the Lava Golems in here so that we can break a board if need be. And then, of course, you do see here that we have some Droll and Lockbirdage so that you can go ahead and punish the opponent. But, I mean, reliably so. This is very interesting. See that we have one Talents, we side 2 Thrust, and then we actually side Triple Dimensional Barrier here as well. So you'll be able to handle a lot of the metagame already, kind of built into this, which is actually kind of good. The more that you can cover your bases here and be able to immediate answer a lot of things seems pretty good to me. Next up here, oh, look, it's our Purely list. We did opt for the Dark World package. I will say that the Dark World package looks like it has pretty much been the go-to here for everybody. I don't know what it is. I mean, I understand that players do want to try, like, different things in the deck, like Volcanic Shell was the one that I personally liked, but okay. I see that we're opting for 2 Ash and then siding the 3rd, which is interesting. We are main decking triple Santa Claus, so, go ahead and answer the opponent's big threat, and then, Zeus into it and do your thing. That's honestly, like, the best thing that you kind of get with this deck is defense this, go ahead and Zeus up, congratulations, you've done your thing. And, of course, the siding of the triple Vanity's Fiends. This card is nuts in this deck. Though Imperm has came back into the format, that's going to be a little bit of an issue that you're going to have to deal with, but it's not like the end of the world for this deck to, have to kind of clean up our other big threats. So, pretty interesting. Next up here, we have Super Heavy Samurai. Now, this is the Stein build. I will say that a lot of these builds out here that are trying different things... Wait a minute. What are you doing in here? We're playing Tsukiyomi in this? Really? Really? I mean, technically, it is a normal summon out that does flip something face down. I don't know what threat you could be really worried about, Shifty Eyes, but if you can, you know, bait a negate or something on this, this is kind of cute. Honestly, in terms of like ratios, I mean, you're maximizing your hand traps, you're going to play Cyberstein, your universal pendulum scales to get the deck going, check. Everything else is just handling answers. I mean, you get this off of the Genius, these out, you know, essential back row, these also control back row. This deck has a lot of strong outs for what it needs to do, it doesn't have a good time against, you know, Droll and Lockbird. And, you know, as long as you can stop the deck from comboing up, you'll be pretty good off. Hey, it's Sword Soul. Hey, it's the card that lets Sword Soul play the game right now. I don't know if you've noticed, but Dark Ruler No More has pretty much stormed back into the format here. The fact that we can see Dark Ruler No More being a power card for players to actually be able to play the game right now, I'm not surprised by this. The format has just shifted in such a way that you have to rely on the particulars of this card in order to play the game. And of course, I mean, Droll and Lockbird is by far the strongest thing that you could actually rely on here. All right. You really do gotta love to see just like the differences in deck choices out here that can really get things going. You have anti-spells for defensive options as well. I mean, Sword Soul's main deck is so staple. Like, there's not a lot that you can really change up in here to really make it exciting. It's always going to kind of be about the same pile. Next up here, we had, hi, Dinosaurs. You know, I expected something, you know, not like this. I don't think that this is a bad thing. I think that, you know, good old consistency is going to be a good thing. So we are playing cross-out designators so that we can actually have defensive lines in order to control the opponent. Check. That's good. Scrap package is always going to be pretty much a necessity. And then, of course, Listogasm, Draconic Diagram interactions are also going to be pretty good. We are citing Triple Herald of the Abyss here so we can actually handle spot removal, any real major threats that the opponent can really generate here. And I think that that's pretty good. Overall, once again, the same typical builds that you're used to seeing, the same, you know, inclusions of the same engines is what makes this deck, it's consistent at least, all right? Shout out to Lost World here, still being a really good card. Next up here, we have our our second Sword Soul list. Now, this build did not opt for Dark Ruler No More. It instead opted for it down here in the side deck. I mean, not much of a difference if both builds were still able to top 8 and still have access to the card. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. Overall, though, once again, like, the main deck is very consistent. You do have to play Droll and Lockbird. If you're looking at Sword Soul right now and you're like, I don't really want to play Droll and Lockbird, Robbie, like, I don't think it's that good. You're gonna run into some bad times out here. Do kind of keep that in mind, that you do want those particular power cards in order to even make sure that you could play the game. All right, like, I would not play this format without having access to Droll, because, you know, this deck can actually set up a pretty strong field and just laugh at the opponent. Also, this card right now, getting some love back into the format, is kind of nice. Next up here, we have Naturia Runic. Oh boy. And there she is. That's what I wanted to see. We're playing just one copy of the Time Tearing Morganite in the deck. The ability to get that draw 2 every single turn, get the game going. Curse Seal the Forbidden Spell. Okay, we're getting a little bit innovative out here, and that's what I want to see out here for these decks to kind of, you know, grind up here and get the chance to keep up. Outside of that, I mean, you've really got to give it to Runic Innovations out here. You have to play a lot of very strong cards kind of counter the meta. I mean, main decking 3 Kaijus just so you can play the game, yeah, perfectly fine. Probably board out into Ashes quite a lot. You have a majority of other counter picks down here. I also like double Naturia Beast in this deck, so a lot of things that you'll be able to do. So that wraps up our regional breakdown. What do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you. Ugh.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.